Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. Hope you guys are all having a fabulous weekend. Up here in Vancouver, Washington, it is like in the 80s, so it feels to me like summer today. It's fabulously beautiful and warm and sunny with lots of pollen, so my eyes might look a little tired. That's why. A little pollen going on. I want to take a second just to remind any of you guys that are tuning in live, if you want to go log in, if you're on a computer and you'd like to join us in the chat, you can ask questions or share your comments. So take a moment just to go log in on the live chat with your name or nickname. And any of you that would like to call in, if you want to ask me a question personally, the number is 919-518-9773. So you can call in if you'd like as well. So let's see today. This past week I kind of was processing yesterday, like, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? And I would just went on a walk, and then I came back and was meditating and just feeling it. And what I'm getting is this theme that's happened in my life for the last week, and it's not just been in my personal life, but in my clients' lives. And I've just been observing this pattern this past week. For one thing, I'm going to talk a little bit about the ascension symptoms that are going on, and that there's more energetics playing out at this time. And some of you that are very sensitive, we're all different levels of how much we're affected by different energies. And a lot of empaths and sensitives are really greatly affected by shifting frequencies in the electromagnetic field when we're having solar flares, and when there's more gamma rays coming in and affecting the planet, it actually can affect us. And I personally, this past week, there was a few days, I can always feel it now when it's happening, because I'll kind of feel like everything around me just looks wavy, and I feel a little dizzy and not as grounded. And it can, for some people, it can make you get kind of a little bit of a headache, or like a little lightning storm in your head, is the way I describe it. And sometimes that can even affect the other parts of your body, like achiness, tiredness. What I would encourage any of you to do if you're experiencing that is, just if you're able to pull away and go and just lay down and be, I would really encourage you to do that. And just tune in with your team, because I'll tune in with my soul team, and I'll just be asking my guides, my angels, like, hey guys, what's going on? Give me some information, and can you help me stabilize my energy field? And I will get dialogue coming back in consciousness, like, yes, sweet one, you're experiencing the effects of the incoming rays or gamma rays, or the electromagnetic energies are affecting you. And so they'll kind of explain it to me. And then whenever I go check it later, I'll go check, on the computer and kind of search that and see what's going on. And every time it's confirmed what's going on is exactly what my guides tell me. And also, it's what's causing a lot of the earthquakes on the planet right now. A lot of these shifts and these electromagnetic storms actually create shifts in weather patterns as well. So if we think about it, if it's affecting the planet and it can create an earthquake and it can create all these shifts in weather, it's affecting us. And so if we're feeling a little overwhelmed or more anxious, I encourage you to go and just reconnect very consciously with your source, and just get yourself back into a place of ease and being receptive, so that you can receive the frequencies of light. This energy is kind of like, think of it as like electricity that's coming in, and we want to stay open to receiving it, rather than if we're trying to pinch it off. It kind of creates more tension in our own energy field. And for me, it helps me a lot when I consciously just open up to receive and anchor the frequencies. So just a little reminder about that, because some of you might be experiencing that as well with me. And it may lead you to feeling more fatigued and tired. So remember, like what I teach in yoga is, there's the yin and the yang of everything in life, and the divine masculine, the divine feminine are equally important. And sometimes, we have to really be mindful of, are we still in that pattern of over emphasizing and over celebrating the masculine, to where we think we have to be constantly busy and in action to be worthy? Or are we actually comfortable with just being and receiving? Because that's also equally as important and powerful. So just a reminder on that. And if any of you guys have questions about that, feel free to write them in. Or if you're experiencing things and you want to share, I welcome you to share that. one of the things today before the show, I'm going to be talking about how important it is that we show up authentically. And this has been kind of the theme this week, the challenge. I've had clients that have been going through this, and I've personally been challenged by it by people around me of just this tendency to, feel like people around may want to try to push you into conforming to their will or silencing you or, kind of like suffocating you, causing you to submit your energy, your power. And I was recently talking with a client, and I'm going to share a card that I felt inspired to share with everyone that was really powerful, a crystal healing card. But in this, when we actually are feeling drained and like when we say people are taking our power, what's really going on there is we are giving it out. We are giving our power away. We're surrendering it over. And we can be tested by this in a lot of different ways. It could be with coworkers, it could be with our family at home, it could be with loved ones, whoever comes along. If there's people coming and they're trying to challenge and take away your energy, really the only way they can succeed at that is if you give it to them. And a big part of what I feel is important is that as light workers, that we step in and we really embody our power and our light, our divinity. And we're not here trying to say things just to get popular or saying things to get attention, saying things so we have followers. I mean, there's people that can do this, and I see that, but it's not really the path to fulfillment and happiness. And so, if we really look at it very simply in our life, that every moment we're given an opportunity to just show up and be authentically us and to really express our heartfelt truth, to really let the world know who we are, to show the world who we are. This is the ultimate gift that each of us have to give the world. And so many of us are denying that daily by withholding our truth, withholding our own personality, our own unique perspective, and just being sheep and just being silenced and submitting and conforming to others that, really strongly would like to control your energy. And I just feel like we're at this place with all these inflowing frequencies and new energy waves where for me it feels like it's really getting more illuminated. Like in every way we are illuminating the planet and we're illuminating our own lives, and it's not to cause you pain or suffering, but it's really to shine the light on things that are no longer serving you, behaviors that have never really been good for you, ways of looking at life. Like if we're looking at our life in a perspective of limitation, and we're looking at our life in a victim consciousness, let's say, it's not serving you. And it's going to be more and more intense if you keep submitting and conforming and denying your own power. And so the way I look at it is, why would we want to wait another moment to show the world who we truly are? Now, in my own life, I can tell you that I do understand why many of you are silent. I understand why many of you don't tell the world the truth, why many of you don't even tell yourself the truth. Like, we'll even get so good at lying that we'll lie to ourselves. We'll lie to ourselves about different situations. We'll lie to people around us. I mean, we deny our own divinity, so why not deny everything with other people? And the thing is that I know this will never help us to feel better, and it's never going to help us um, heal external energies as well. We're not going to have a more balanced, harmonious planet, let's say, if we're not in balance and harmony within. And so this is very important, and it starts inside. It starts as an inside job, and it's going to reflect that balance in your outside world. And so really, it's important that each of us stop being afraid. I think if we just get really simple, it's kind of like a time to where we either consciously know, okay, I'm just going to keep staying in a place where I feed my ego, meaning the egoic part of yourself, the wounded child aspects of yourself, the unconscious parts of self. That's what I mean by when I say egoic. So there's always, like, as our individual selves, we have the ego identity as far as like in the water, in the ocean of life, the droplet that is showing up on the show is named Tawnya Love, for example. So I have that identity, but to become egoic and just be consumed by ego means that it's all about the fear. It's all about the control. It's all about, I need to get to some destination. And so I'll play games or I'll let people play games with me. Now, if we don't participate in that and we're authentic, we're one with our source, we know who we are, we love ourselves, we love others, we can speak from truth. And I feel like so many of you, when you do deny truth, it's because you're so afraid of actually speaking truth because you're so conditioned and used to lying. And it's like almost like when someone comes along that's a truth teller, a messenger of truth, those people get shamed and criticized because how dare you speak truth? Because the world is so conditioned against it. And so people will actually project shame on light workers. And I say a light worker, meaning you're the one bringing the light. The ones who bring that will often be shamed for it because the ones who live in the shadow don't like that light. They don't like to actually look at their stuff. They don't want somebody challenging them. But the thing is the only way we're going to shift things as a collective group is if we start individually being aware and awake about our own energy and our own choices. Are we in ego or are we in alignment? Are we one with our source? Are we trusting that there's enough? Are we in unity consciousness or are we in separation consciousness? Are we playing out the victim or are we playing the victimizer? And if we're trying to control people's energy around us, it's a really quick way to tell that you're an ego. Because if you're truly in alignment, you don't need to control everyone around you. You're more tuned into how to stay in alignment and stay in a space of control within, meaning I know I could lose my shit on somebody because they weren't nice to me, or I could stay calm and centered, observe what they're doing, and then speak with clarity, love, and compassion of what that feels like to me. So I express my truth, but I don't hold it in until it erupts. And I feel like that's a big part of the game that we're all needing to clear collectively is this energy of being passive and aggressive. We kind of hang out between the two polarities of passive and aggressive. And what we want to do is go back to that center place where we can just, as things occur, we express what our truth is about them. As someone comes and they're mean to us or they're hateful and they're, not patient, we can just be kind and say, hey, there's no need to speak to me in that tone. Like you could say that kind. Could you please speak to me with kindness? I do deserve it. And it's like little gentle ways we nudge people to be awake, first of all, to the fact that they lost their alignment and they were projecting and kind of shaming us. But we each have this ability to stay in the middle and to stay in our center, or we can go to the passive and aggressive polarities. And that's what I observe a lot of humans playing with. And it's nothing to shame yourself with, it's just something to be aware of that that's the conditioning. We've been raised in that, and it creates a lot of drama. So if there's something that arises, let's say in a family situation, and there's no expression of truth about it and it's passive, we just are passive about it, we bite our tongue, we don't express how it really makes us feel, and then we do that long enough and then one little thing will happen and we're going to blow up at that person or maybe even not at the person that it's even about because we've been holding it in so long. So it's really important that we kind of start seeing that collectively, that we play that game and that it really leads to suffering. It doesn't help anything. And if we understand that, then it's important that we have the awareness to come and be centered and present in the middle way so that we show up with honor and reverence and gratitude, and we have truth as our highest alignment. So when I'm connecting with myself, I can't be hateful to myself and be in alignment with truth. I have to show self love, self respect, self care, and then I can extend that outward to others. So if we're in a place in our life where we're really hateful to ourselves, we're critical to ourselves, we shame ourselves, we don't think much of ourselves, it's that's really something to be aware of, because in order for you to shift into the middle way and actually be able to be there for others in an aligned way, you have to do your own inner work. And as a light worker and a healer, that's exactly what I love helping souls with. All of my clients, my soul coaching clients, clients that are in-person and remote clients that receive auric clearings, they have profound shifts in their energetics. They're having their vibration raised. They're actually helping to see where they can connect the dots on these old patterns that play out in their energy field that they often can lose themselves into their ego because they become just reactive by external triggers. We want to let those triggers come as a gift so that the trigger leads us right to the place that's ready for healing. So if we're not afraid of being triggered, but we actually welcome it so that we can tune in and actually address whatever is there that's causing that trigger to cause us harm, we can heal that and we can clear it and shift out of there. And then we won't need to be afraid of those things coming anymore because we've cleared it. So that's one of the things that I feel is very important, is that we are mindful with where we're at in our alignment. And if we're not being authentic and we're afraid to speak our truth, let's say you're at your job every week and you hold back your truth, and then by Friday you're just like pissed. You're pissed at those people, and maybe at lunch you're ranting and venting about it to your friends, and then maybe you start a blog and you're just ranting on there. All that's doing is feeding that energy, and it's really not a place of solution. So if we really are having issues with people at work or people in our home life or anywhere in our life, the best thing is to go and address those things. Now, you can't be in charge of how they're going to receive it. All you can do is ask your higher self to speak through you, which is the way I would encourage you to do it. Higher self, I would like to connect with this person and have an exchange of energy so that there's clear communication. Please speak through me with love, clarity, and compassion. Speak through me with truth. And then you allow your higher self to actually speak and lead the conversation. And it's an amazing shift that will happen if you remember to do this, as opposed to somebody does something and you either are passive or you aggressively lash out at them and react. So I'm going to pause real quick and see, is there any questions or comments on that? And if any of you guys have been having this happen, where you realize you're suffocating yourself, you feel like you can't be true to yourself, you feel afraid to show up and be authentic. At work, you have all these ideas, but you never share them. Or in your family life, you just let the family that are louder talk all the time, and you just let them believe that you're going along with what they say because you never have the courage to speak up for what you really feel. So if there's anybody that wants to share anything, I welcome that. Anything coming in, Amnon?
Nope. I mean, you
Okay.
have a few people there, but nothing.
Okay, guys, well, talk to me, because this is pretty, I think this is pretty common stuff. And if you have something that you're working through and you want to ask, this is a great opportunity. So be brave and share and ask. Um, so today I had a couple times where I, myself and my beloved, saw the number 999. And so I kind of was like, I'm going to go check out what that number is again on the Joanne's Sacred Scribe site. And it was so spot on with the conversation for today, for the show, the topic. And so I wanted to share it with you. So the number 999 is connected with communication, inner strength, conclusions and endings, humility and humanity, leadership and leading by positive example, intuition and insight, spiritual awakening and enlightenment, light working and serving others, as well as setting a positive example, the universal spiritual laws, and your divine life purpose and soul mission. Let's see. So it says, as the number 9 resonates with endings and closures, the message of repeating angel number 999 may be that certain aspects of your life are coming to a close, and or an important phase or cycle is ending. Trust that this is happening for very karmic reasons, which will become evident in the very near future. It is clearing the way for you to fully pursue your divine life purpose and soul mission as your soul's destiny dictates. And I think it's important that we remember that, like when we feel like, let's say we're asking for guidance and then we see these numbers and we're like, wait, what does that mean? We want to start really paying attention to how, when we're putting out an intention or a desire, a question to the universe is answering. It's just for up to us to pay attention. So if we start noticing number sequences, or we start having different dreams that are, symbolic, we want to start really tuning in. Different animals start showing up in our life, which I'm going to read an animal totem to you as well today. We want to start paying attention because those are signs, and it's the way the universe is actually responding to our question or our calling. Um, Trust that all the information, guidance, and assistance that you will ever need upon your path will be supplied by the angels and the universal energies. And I feel like that's really important. Like on this show, I've done this show every week, well, almost every week. There's a couple times here and there where we miss a show, but for the past like 2 years, we've been doing a show. And I really only usually know what I'm going to talk about maybe a day or so before. sometimes even that day. And what's amazing is that it always flows. If I'm working with healing clients, I'll meditate before they come and I'll start receiving impressions and messages about them before they arrive. And then we get into the session and it just flows. I'm not in charge. I don't need to have it figured out. I don't need to script anything. I don't need to memorize anything. I just stay open. And so, what I would love to encourage each of you to do in your life is to just stay more open, stay receptive, trust, and allow spirit, allow the power of the universe to flow through you. You will absolutely be a powerful force in your world and in the lives of others when you just remain open and receptive as a clear channel. So if we're worrying about, will this be taken care of in my future? Will I have that? What if I don't have enough? It pinches off that hose that we talk about, that symbolic hose that connects us with our source, and it's not serving us. And I feel like part of this 999 is that it's time for a shift, not just for Tawnya Love's life, but I'm mirroring this to each of you listening. It's time for us to call back our power. It's time for us as light workers to embody our light and our power, to remember that we're one with Source, that we are infinite, we're immortal, we're eternal light beings, life force. We will not stop. And so when we live with this kind of power and conviction, nothing can frighten us. Now, there may be things that come along that try to challenge us, and we're like, okay, I need to tune in and remember what the solution is here. But that's all it is. It's just anything that comes to you, you tune in right then, you ask for a higher solution. And I promise you it comes. But when we're not practicing this and we're actually more practicing the old habit of pinching off our hose and going into fear, going into doom and gloom, our worst case scenario, our worst fears, we manifest them. And so, collectively, if we really want to create a more beautiful world, a more abundant life, a more healthy us, and a healthy planet, we have to start by seeing the patterns that we're playing, and we have to stop participating in the ego in any way. So, in a sense, I feel like today is this beautiful opportunity for any of you that are ready to die to your ego, to dissolve the ego, to deny the ego, abandon the ego. And what that means is it doesn't mean you lose your sense of identity. You'll still be your own identity. I'm still Tawnya Love. However, I now understand that I allow life force to move through me, to support me, that I'm not in charge. I can call out and make requests. I can call out and thank the universe for bringing me solutions. I can even thank them for helping with certain things around the planet, but I'm not in charge of how it goes down. I just make the calling, or I assist with something when I receive an impression or an intuition to assist. And then I trust that the universal forces are handling all those details. So if we really live this way, it's blissful and it's magical. And any of you that have been following me for a while, you see like Tanya's pretty blissfully, magically happy a lot of the times. I mean, it's pretty rare that I'm tense or stressed out. There's sometimes life challenges that come and I'll deal with those. But for the most part, things flow and they're very abundant and beautiful. And it's because I've learned to do this. And so, any of you that have been struggling in any way, really look at those patterns. Look at if you are still pinching off your hose. Are you still in fear? Are you still giving and feeding energy to the anxious thoughts? Are you still giving energy to the ego, wanting drama, creating drama? Because if you are, today's a great day, an invitation to step into your light, to step fully into the light and just throw the hands in the air and like give yourself to the light. I give myself back to the light. I am here to serve. How may I serve? Make me a pure channel. And we can give this, we can give ourselves over in this way, and it can be the most amazing, powerful transformation you ever will experience. Or the option is to stay in your ego and to keep on playing out drama and pain and suffering. But it is an option. You don't have to do that. It is absolutely optional, and it really isn't the highest path. It's not going to bring you good. So I encourage you guys to start to pay attention to that and be bold, be courageous, find your voices. If you're living in your lives and you feel kind of like a sheep that gets herded around at work, you're a doormat as a wife, maybe you're a mother or a wife or a husband or a child that just lets people walk all over you. Your coworkers might treat you crappy, like whatever it is, find your voice and stop being afraid to use it, because the messengers are needed. We each need to step in as light workers and be messengers of truth and love. We need to actually remember how infinitely powerful we are. And if enough of us keep doing this, we're going to have some profound shifts in the collective. So I'll pause real quick. Any questions or comments?
No, well, there's some comments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie is saying, I'm into this kind of thing, and I'm a light traveler myself. And say it's hard to abandon the ego.
Here's something else. What was their name?
Jamie B.
Jamie? Okay, so for Jamie, here's a thing to check in your mind because everything's a mental thing. If we can go start right there with how we see life, how we speak life, we expect things, we have belief systems. And if there's limitations in our mind, it starts to create that external reality. So, in that thinking of it's hard to abandon ego, that's a thought, that's just a belief system. So, if we could at least acknowledge that, like, okay, maybe it's just something I'm becoming better at every day. So every moment I am getting better and better at honoring my divinity. Every moment I am embracing my power with ease and grace. Every moment I am embodying more and more love and light and truth. I am now releasing fear with ease and grace. So if we're getting into that alignment with our thoughts, it won't be hard. It will just be a shift. It'll be a choice. So the choice is we go and say it's hard, and then we make excuses, and then we say that we can't do it, or it's too much for me, it's too much of a challenge. We'll make excuses and we'll give energy to the it's too hard. But if we don't do that and we just go, okay, it's a choice, because I either choose to go into victim or I choose to take back my power. It really is that way. If you look at every conversation in your life, every moment, let's say someone's talking to you, and right now, you need to say something back, you need to speak your truth. You either in this moment choose to allow that expression, that energy to move through and to express itself, or you pinch it off and suck it in and kind of you'll even feel it in your throat chakra that like it's being pinched, and you hold it in and you deny yourself and you give your power away. So it's not really a hard thing. I do have compassion for how you're using that word, just understand that. But it's a choice. It's really a choice of, do I give my power away or do I choose to express my truth? Now, the more and more we choose to become aligned with our divinity, the more and more we choose to express our truth and to call back our power, you are going to get more and more comfortable with that feeling. In the very beginning, if you've been comfortably uncomfortable giving your power away, it's going to feel like a challenge. It's going to feel like um, a different kind of energy to be in the world you're used to compared to going into that new energy field of expansion, meaning I take and call my power back. I express my truth. That might feel different to you. And we might get a little shiver or tremor right before we do it. But let yourself expand. Let yourself take up more space. Let yourself express without fear of what they're going to say. I feel like so many of us, we hold it back because we're so terrified of what will they think of me? What will they, think of? Will they love me? Will they accept me? And when we really get to the center of that, the core of that, it's not about the they, it's about us. What do I think about me? What do I really think about me? Do I feel I'm worthy? Do I feel I'm deserving? Do I feel like I'm capable? Do I feel like I'm powerful? And so, as we really take our power back, we're not so concerned about what everyone else thinks. We're going to speak our truth. We observe and we'll speak that truth. We can speak it with kindness and with compassion and clarity. But when we are walking around and we're afraid to embody our power, we're really giving mixed messages, and we're sending out, wishy-washy signals to people around us that's creating more and more drama. So when you look at that, is it hard or easy? Try to get those words out of your mind if you can. Just like delete those. Okay, hard and easy, deleted. How about I choose? I choose in this moment to embody my divinity. I choose in this moment to express my truth. I choose in this moment to call back my power because I am mighty and I am deserving. And you get more and more comfortable with that. So, in a moment that you might be feeling a little nervous about that change, you just tell yourself, that inner child part of yourself, I love you, and we are getting more and more powerful and bold every day. And I say this because I've lived this. There in my life, there's been times I've felt so suffocated. I felt shut down by people in my life. I was surrounded by them, surrounded by people who could give a shit what Tawnya Love had to feel. Well, I wasn't even Tawnya Love then, but they could give a shit about what I felt as an individual. They didn't care if I was suffering. They didn't care if their controlling energies made me feel terrible. So I had to start seeing that, and I had to start saying, you know what? Enough is enough, because this can't continue unless I keep participating in it. This cannot continue unless I say it's okay. So, something that I think scares a lot of us, and I can have a great deal of compassion towards any of you that are going through change and transformation, is that when we actually own our power, there is that chance that some of those people we're standing our ground with will totally reject us, they'll shame us, they'll dismiss us, they'll abandon us, betray us, they might talk bad about us. So be it. Let them go and realize that you never had power over them anyway. And the illusion is that we were feeding them and trying to like sustain them and keep them happy so that we would think we're okay with them. And it's a false sense of security. But when we really take our power back, we realize we're going to pay attention to what their energy feels like to us. We're going to feel more concerned about, do I feel loved here? Do I feel seen here? Do I feel accepted here for who I am? And if you don't, and they're threatening and they're shaming you and they're saying they're going to reject you, let them. Let them go, because those are not your core people. Those are people that you had in your life when you were putting out that other energy of thinking you weren't enough. And so you attracted those people. So we have to be comfortable with this journey of transformation where what we had in our life at one point may not be what we have in our life in 6 months from now. And that's okay. We need to stop being so afraid about controlling that. Stop being so afraid about all these. We have all these belief systems, in our society about attachment, that we have to be at that company for 20 years, or we have to be in that marriage for the rest of our lives, even if it doesn't feel good. We have to stay with that friend because we've been friends with them since kindergarten, but they've been hateful and controlling the whole time. So we got to really look into our life and how much we're practicing and participating in attachment, and how much we're really embodying our divinity, which says, I am one with my source. So whatever's for my highest and best, I welcome it. And whatever is no longer for my highest and best, maybe it never really was, but I've been clinging to it. I open my hands, I surrender, and I let it go. I release all energies no longer serving me. And if we can do that for ourselves, we release those energies. These energies could be representative of addiction. They could be representative of, deep self loathing and depression. They could be representative of your insecurities. It could be attachments to humans, to relationships that aren't good for you. It could be attachments to, maybe our girlfriends or our coworkers and worrying about what they think when they're not even really loving to us. We got to really tune into that and start to love ourselves. And that is not really a hard thing. That is a choice. And it's a choice that is going to change your lives. I promise you. And it will feel a little scary if you're used to giving your power away. It's going to feel like such a contrast, but it's so worth the effort. It's so worth this moment of awareness, this moment of speaking your truth. Don't think of it in such a big way that it's overwhelming. Just think about it right now. Like, the way this human's talking to me right now, is it loving? Is it respectful? Do they show me honor? Do they see me? Do they even care about how I feel? If they don't, you don't need them in your life. Let them go. Let them move on away so that they can go heal and you can heal yourself. And then you can call forth more loving relationships. So I'll pause. Is there any input on that or any other comments?
Well, first of all, Cindy's saying, I'm tired of my ego. It's time for it to go.
Mm,
Um,
yeah. Bye
Jamie,
bye.
Jamie, Jamie is, I'll take it in difficulty.
What's that?
I'll take it in level of difficulty. He says, have you seen a movie called Kymatica?
What's it called?
Kymatica, Kymatica.
No.
Okay, so that's a yes or no answer. That's fine.
Nope, I
Uh,
haven't.
then he says, how to release fear.
Sorry, what's that? I'm not, I
How
can barely
how
hear you.
to release fear? How does
Okay.
how can you release fear? And then there's more that Jamie is typing. He said, I find it difficult to let some things go when I look at my ex who legally gets to embezzle money from me each month, makes it hard to forgive her.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest obstacle in my path.
Okay. Well, in this case, this is part of being in our power. So, forgiveness is definitely a choice that's for you. It's not about the person. So, when we're forgiving, it means that I'm no longer willing to carry anger and hatred and stress and tension and resistance in my energy field in regards to your behavior. So, it's a very liberating and empowering choice, but it doesn't mean that what they did was okay. So what it does is it energetically frees you from their little bubble. So when we're in hatred and anger and tension with anyone, we're kind of karmically attached to them. It's an attachment to their energy fields, like they have a little hose stuck to us, and it's really draining. And typically, all we're going to do is keep creating karmic pattern there. So if we don't work that out now, next life they're going to look really good to us and we're going to be like so drawn to them, but also have this little gut feeling that something's not right, and that will be when we go replay some stuff out with that person. So right now is when you want to deal with that stuff, and if you need help with that and you want to contact me for a clearing, I could help you with that. And it's amazing the shifts that you'll feel in a clearing. But you can start today just by consciously tuning into any energetics that are attached to you connected to that partner, and forgive her. Release her energy with love. Release her to the universe. Thank the universe for clearing that from your energy field. Not just the partner, but the energy. What did that energy represent? What is that energy mirroring to you? What is it about your own self worth that that's really triggering? And so we can go deeper into how that person came in and just cattle prodded us, an electroshock to get our attention to some deep issues that we really need to deal with. And if we don't get it, this is the beauty of life. The next partner will come along and they'll act it out until we get it. So, the way I look at everything is now is the time to do your work, because if we clear that stuff now, we clear it from our energy field and we won't attract it anymore. We'll start vibing at a higher rate and we're going to draw in more loving people of integrity. Now, when there's things like people have done us wrong, or, because I don't know the exact details of your situation, but if we're not playing victim victimizer, but we're really just being in our alignment with how did I participate in this creation, powerful and profound awareness will come to you. So everything that we have happen to us is a participatory experience. So if I was abused, which I was in my past, I could just blame it all on the person that abused me. But when I really started to process in my own healing, I saw, wow, I really tolerated that shit. I really enabled that abuse. I made excuses. I stayed attached. I stuck myself there. And so, in my own feeling of not being worthy, having self worth issues, I tolerated that. I settled for that. So, when we can see that and we can connect the dots, it's very liberating for us. So, now the person, the partner, they may or may not heal. They may go through life doing this to many people. That might be the character they're going to play out in this life. They're like in a movie, they always play that villain character because that's what agreements they have, soul contracts with souls, that they're going to come in and I'm going to cattle prod you and see if you remember who you really are. And so if we don't worry about what they're doing, don't even waste a minute more of your energy or your awareness on what they're doing, or if they're getting theirs, or if life's going to give them their karma. Don't even put your energy there. It's draining you. It's not empowering you. It's a distraction. So if we come back to self and we put that mirror up in our face and we start looking, how did I participate in this? How did I co create this? What am I now ready to co create? I am ready for new, different. So, what do I have to release so that I can go vibe higher? And this is where you can have profound rebirthing and shift and shape shift, like as a phoenix, burn into ash all the old self, dying to ego. It's not a fearful thing, it's a courageous thing. And many souls, we're all going to do it eventually. I mean, we all get there when we're ready. But I really feel like now's the time. Like right now, work with the light worker. Go and do your work. Go and start meditating. Go and start finding what makes your heart happy and start loving yourself. Because a lot of times when we have really hurting and traumatic relationships that end, it really triggers some deep stuff as our inner child unresolved stuff. So if we have like abandonment issues and self-worth issues, they get triggered big time. And if we don't deal with them, if we don't honor the inner child and do the healing work, then we go and we find ways to suppress it, to numb it. We start looking and turning to addictions, distractions, and all that's going to do is procrastinate the inevitable. You're going to need to heal this eventually. So I would encourage you, whether you feel drawn to work with myself or another, to put some time into your own spiritual alignment and your healing, because that is going to empower you. And to work on in your consciousness right now, just forgiving that person. One thing that helps me a lot with forgiveness, because I've had some people do some pretty messed up shit in my life. And when I look at it and I see my part and I see their part, what helps me is when I can see that human and I can see their hurting child, their wounded child, and I can see it with compassion. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to keep enabling it. It doesn't mean I'm going to keep tolerating something. Once I see that there's a victim pattern or a victimizer pattern or some abusive pattern, let's say, I will speak truth about it now. I've done my work, so now I don't waste time. But in the past, it would be 20 years before we deal with something. And so basically you want to address it right now. You want to speak truth. And then you make your choices. If that person isn't showing trust, if they cannot be trusted and they're showing you that, then you choose to keep on enabling them or keep attaching to them, hoping they'll be something that they're not, so hoping that they'll be something that they're showing you they can't be. Or you honor what they're showing you and you release them from your life, and you don't blame yourself and you don't shame yourself and think, oh, I suck and why did I attract this? You just take it as a lesson, and then you thank the universe for bringing in what you love. And if you haven't seen that show I did recently called Oh What a Feeling, I encourage you to go to YouTube, follow me on my YouTube channel, and watch that show, because it's all about what we're vibing. Our emotional feelings are drawing more experiences to us, either good or not so good. So I hope that helps you. So let me know if that was helpful.
Well, he's saying it makes sense. We need to talk sometime. And then he's adding, I think that the universe directed me here tonight.
Nice. Yes, that's exactly how it works. Isn't that beautiful? Well, and what I'm gonna at the end, I usually tell what my specials are, but it's springtime, and you know how a lot of us do spring cleaning in our houses, and we do spring cleaning detox in our bodies, like drink green juice and stuff. Well, I'm gonna do auric clearing specials for spring cleaning time. So any of you guys that are watching, if you're not living in my area, don't worry about it. These energy sessions are powerful, whether you're in my healing room or you're laying in your bed in Chicago and we're doing the session together over the phone. And we'll talk about it. I'll explain it to you over the phone if you guys want to call me, and you can explain what's going on with you. But I have clients I've worked with remotely that have had amazing experiences and profound shifts in the energetics, healings in their body, healings and shifts in their career, their abundance, their relationships, you name it. It's all vibrational. So, any of you guys that are interested in working with me, I'm doing a special just for this till like the middle of May, May 15th. I'm going to do it from today till May 15th. If you sign up and schedule an auric clearing session, you're basically, if you buy 2 clearing sessions up front, your second session will be half price. So that's a great deal for anybody that's worked with me. You know, that's a good deal. And even if you've been a client in the past and you want to take me up on that, let me know. But it's buy one, get the second half off. And you can use it for yourself or you can gift it to a friend. And then also, I've got soul coaching sessions. So if any of you want to work with me, you can go on TanyaAngel555.com and look under my services and see all the stuff I offer. But yeah, do your work now, though. Like, don't procrastinate another day. I feel like this 999 number coming through today, one of the last things it says is this, let's see, to devote yourself to your life's mission without delay. Listen to the guidance from your angels if feeling any fears or doubts about your path. The angel number 999 can be a strong suggestion that a phase or phases in your life are coming to a definite end and that you can expect many closures in your life. Fear not, as this is preparing you to begin a wonderful new life and lifestyle that you will see all fall into place for you in the most positive of ways. Angel number 999 is a sign that light workers are to step up into their duties and to work for the benefit of humanity and the world as a whole. Boom, right there. I mean, that's pretty clear message, right, guys? So it's time, my friends. Is there any other comments, Amnon?
Jamie wants to know where you are.
I am in Vancouver, Washington. So if I don't know where you're at, but if you're in my area, we can work one-on-one in person. And if not, just go and look under my website, under my services, and we could connect through Skype or phone. And like I said, powerful energy no matter where you are in the planet. So just keep me posted. Okay, so the next card, I want to read a card to you that I actually drew during one of my clients' sessions, but it feels so perfect for today's topic. And really, her session inspired me to speak about this because as a light worker, I feel like I have been challenged so much in my life as far as, conforming and giving my power away and being a sheep. And it's just, I'm not wired for it. I used to try to do it and I suffered greatly. And now I don't do it. And if people want to project their power at me, they want to project their anger at me, they want to try to take my power, control my energy, I will very politely call them on it and then let them know how much I know that they are also one with source and that I basically am uncomfortable with that and I will not give them my power. And I'll really be direct with that when people are trying to suffocate me with their energy. I had this happen recently with a conversation where I felt kind of almost like Darth Vader death grip on my throat chakra. And I was just like, no, I can't, you get that feeling like when someone's trying to control and manipulate your power, you get that kind of, at least I do. It's like a tightness in the throat, a constriction, like a snake's around your neck. And I kind of pull away from the person. And then I just stepped forward and like pushed my energy more close to them and was like, no way, you are not doing this. And I am not going to tolerate this. This is something you do to many, but it will not happen with me. And they pull away from me like, oh God. And that's what we want to start being bold about. We're not here. I think one thing I just was discussing with someone is that I feel oftentimes like light workers and sensitive empaths that are gentle, they're compassionate, a lot of beings don't really read us correctly. So if we're compassionate and we're patient and we're, gentle, a lot of times it seems like people will see that as like weakness or, oh, they're a pushover. I can go and do whatever I want to them. No. And if that's the message you feel like people are getting from you, then you need to be really bold and express that truth. I've had to do this at times with people where I've been compassionate, I've been patient with what they're doing. Maybe they're procrastinating on something that's really important. They gave their word on something and they're not honoring it. And I will, be compassionate and gentle and I'll keep reminding them. But if they start to project their bullshit on me and they start to try to manipulate me or make me feel crappy while they play a victim game, I will totally speak my truth about it and let them know that my compassion and my patience is not a weakness, and do not take advantage of it, because if you take advantage of that kindness, I'm not going to trust you any longer and I will not participate in any creations with you from this moment. So we have to be bold like that. People will start to respect you more or they'll move out of your life. Either way, it's a win-win. So either let them go or they can step up and show honor and respect. The card I was going to read is Obsidian. So if any of you have that crystal, that stone, it's actually like a lava rock. Obsidian, you could work with that. And as I work with my clients, I tell them, if you don't have the crystal or the stone, call it in vibrationally so you can welcome obsidian into your energy field. So this one is connected with true self-reflection. The Master Crystal Deva Tara Mael. Welcome, child of light. I am blessed in your presence. Long ago we embraced, you and I, our old friends. I am the embrace of Bast, the breath of Set, and the path of the jackal, the pathway through the shadow self, doorway to the physical worlds and their mastery. I allow polarities to be known and to carry the freedom found in dedication to self as spirit eternal. And I love that, the polarities to be known. When we're playing those passive aggressive games, we got to see it in order to shift it. And to carry the freedom found in dedication to self as spirit eternal. You are eternal beings, every one of you. we got to stop living like we can be stopped or they can take anything from us, because nothing can stop the light. Nothing can stop truth. So if we're afraid of someone taking our job, our relationship, our life, anything, we're in ego. We are operating under the illusion of being temporary, under the illusion of being separate, under the illusion of being, something that could just fade away. But our light, our soul is infinite and eternal. We have to start living this way. We will get so much done, so much shifted, so much will be beautiful and transformed when we each remember what we are. We are not temporary. Will you walk the inner path of the jackal? Let us ignite the stargates hidden deep in your heart and be blinded no more by the stars above. For fear you will not see the infinite glory that holds them. Evolve with me now. Call the three stars from the heavens above and let them rest in your eyes. In blinding blue light, excuse me, let them expand to 13 and come to rest at home in infinite embrace with the ancient moons. In a single call of power, unite them now at the heart and explode self into the velvet black light of all that is. And I love that. Explode yourself. That's the ego. Explode that ego self into the velvet black light of all that is. Return to your oneness with Source right there, the point of universal birth. We will journey now to the self perceived darkest corridors, and by the light of my being, the reflection of truth within you will be obvious. Beware, I am direct in my action. If you dare walk my path, embrace self, and transmute all by my earthly flame of truth. To love, you may never choose to return to your old life of unrest. And I was working with a client and this card came up and I was like, yes, like when you really dissolve the ego self and you remember you're eternal, you remember you are a child of the light and that you have a right to speak, you have a right to express, you have a right to take up space, to be seen, to be heard. And when you really start to own that power, you're going to remember all of this. You're going to remember that you don't need to ever be afraid. You'll never want to return to that old self of unrest, the anxious self. That won't make any sense to you. And maybe today it does. Maybe today you're like, well, I'm always anxious, Tawnya. That's perfect. See where you are today. But no, that is not your natural state. That is a conditioned state. That is something you've been taught to be. That is not who you are. And we got to come back to who we really are. It's all about that. Let's see. In acceptance of my gifts and the definition of the shadow's embrace, you now see and feel me in reality. For there is nothing to fear in the limitless light I represent. In the reality of the Spirit's unity, we are nurturing and eternally loyal to divine purpose. Let us rewrite the path of light so that humanity will hide in the shadows no more and journey proudly in the stars within and finally above to glory. Ascension, humanity collectively ascending into unity consciousness. That's what this is all about. And it's going to start with each of us doing our part, each of us doing our inner work, working with the light workers that are here that are skilled at this stuff so that we can make leaps and bounds forward, save tons of time, energy, pain, and suffering, and even probably money, because when we're really struggling, it's like we're just losing our money at the same time. When we're in that separate consciousness, we can't keep things, we lose everything. But when we come into unity consciousness and we really understand how to embody it, we just draw in everything we need. There's never a reason to fear anything. And I really, really reside here. And I'm so excited to, in any way I can, to express that and to mirror that to each of you listening, because you all deserve it. Um, so on here, I'm going to just cut ahead because there's a lot more to the card, but it says the healing affirmation that you guys could all have as a mantra this week is, I walk the path of unconditional truth. And really make a pact. Hey, it's 555. Make a pact to yourself to walk the path of true unconditional love and truth, to be a truth teller, to be a messenger. It's so rare that I see them, and I really know that I'm here. That's my soul's mission. It's my soul's mission. I'm like a lioness of God, and I have come here to wake you all up. You're not sheep. You're fucking lions. You need to remember that. You need to start to roar. You need to start to own your power. You're the king of your own jungle, your own kingdom. So your sacred space, that's your dwelling. That's what you are in charge of. You're not some pushover. You're not weak. You're not a victim, but many of us have played that because we've been taught to, and we've been taught that that's what we're worth. That's the illusion, and we have to open our eyes to see truth. Otherwise, we'll stay stuck in the illusion. So I'm going to pause. Any remain? There we go. My lion roar. I love it. Any
Well,
comments or anything, Amnon?
yeah, and I don't know where this come from. There's somebody, Cindy, in the chat, and I don't know where this come from. She said that you're amazing at what you do, and you're an awesome coach. Where'd that come
Oh,
from?
Cindy, yes,
Where'd
she's
that
one of my
come from?
soul coaching clients, and she's done auric clearings with me, soul coaching. Yes, Cindy, I adore her, and so yeah, I bet you she's kind of saying that to help Jamie be like, go for it, Jamie. So thank you, Cindy. I love you.
Yeah, and Jamie says he's in South Carolina.
Okay,
So
well, yeah, I
that's
can
as
work with
far as it
you.
can get, sort of. But it doesn't matter. I told him Skype or phone, no boundaries.
Exactly. It's really all energetics, and like if and I just put my info on there for you, Jamie, my website and the phone number, and I'll put my email. But basically, just contact me, and you can ask me questions, and it starts like that. It starts as a soul conversation, as Cindy knows, and from that soul
What?
conversation,
What?
I can get to know where you're at, and then we can set up the session. But I can do the angel readings, the past life regressions that I do, all of that I have done with Cindy. She's been one of these amazing clients that I've really practiced all this with virtually, remotely, and it's powerful. So, any of the stuff I offer, workshops, mentorships, anything I can do through Skype or through phone. So, if you guys are serious about working and getting your stuff shifted, I'm telling you, make the connection, and it's a great time because I've even got a healing special. Um, so any of you guys that are interested in mentorship as well, contact me because I have those I can't talk, those options as well, and I'll work with your schedule so we can just kind of go from there. But I know this is I am really good at manifesting, and I'm really good at drawing to me what I love now, and it's been a lot of work through a lifetime of being a learning empath, and really in the early years struggling and feeling frustrated and feeling unseen, unloved, like I didn't belong on this planet. Most of my life, I felt like that. And it took a lot of my own courage and my choosing to give myself back to the light. My listening to angels when they were waking me up in the mornings with dreams and messages, and they were calling me back into service. And me listening to that instead of thinking I'm crazy and oh, that's weird and I don't want to tell anybody about it, I decided to totally be a truth teller about it. And my angels encouraged me to. They said, you speak the truth, you live transparently and truthfully, and we will take care of the rest, because I'm a messenger for that bigger picture, for the love, the light that this planet is calling for. And each of you that resonate with me and feel drawn to me today, you're also these messengers. So if we start working together and we start to see how powerful we really are, just think about the world and how it's going to shift. And when you do your healing work, it changes and transforms your outer world in amazing ways. And if you have a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, addiction, you're suffering in some way, silently, you think you're alone, we feel this sense of isolation and separateness, call me and we'll work together, because I promise you it's an illusion. And as you work on clearing all that stuff, the traumas that we've been through, they were real and they need to be honored, they need to be addressed, but then they need to be cleared and released, because you're here to shine. Each of you are here to really have a magnificent life. You're here to have abundance. You're here to thrive. You're here to feel good in your bodies, to feel good in your relationships. And if you're not, then it shows you where there's some room for improvement. And I promise you, you're deserving of whatever you desire. So I want to thank you guys for so much for tuning in today. And this week, what was our mantra again? Our healing affirmation was, I walk the path of unconditional truth. So I would put, I walk the path of unconditional love and truth. And be the love and be the truth bringer. Stop being afraid to speak your truth. Start being honest with yourself, and then start being honest with everyone around you, and watch how that transforms your world. Don't be afraid if it starts to look like chaos and a bunch of people leave. Let them, because that is divinity happening. That is the divine answering your calling. If you're wanting love and you're wanting abundance and you're wanting honor, sometimes that shows up as an earthquake in your life. It shows up as a literal shaking of everything that doesn't make sense. And a lot of people might leave your life, but trust that Source is working out everything for your highest and best. Life is never against you, it's working for you. Try your best to remember that. So, any last comments or anything, Amnon, before I sign off?
Nope.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your questions, Jamie. And I'm trying to remember if somebody else had a question, their name. But to all of you that had questions, thank you so much, and comments, and that participated in the conversation. I love that. So thank you. And thank you, Cindy, for promoting my services. And I love you, girl, and you're freaking awesome. She has grown and shifted leaps and bounds, and she's still getting more and more badass every day. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you have an amazing week. And be true to yourself. Go out there and be lions. Let me hear that roar one more time, Amnon. You got it? There it is. Nice. All right, guys, thank you so much. And contact me if you want to work together. It's a great time to do that. Namaste.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tawnya Love Show, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Parent Dome with Ryan Miller, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.